As a Hawthorn fan that gets often criticised for the way that I can go after the group, I say this and mean it with every fibre of my being. What the Hawks just produced in that weather against that kind of voodooed opponent, the Hawks just played a perfect game of football. Let's talk about it. Now, of course, on a micro level, of course, in those conditions, picking out an errant kick or handball there, that's not what I mean by perfect. From a macro point of view, from what we wanted versus what we got, everything lined up perfectly. A tag. Zach Butters had 18 disposals from 85% time on ground. Does that make me even angrier about last week? Yes, but we're trying to keep this really positive today. Mitch Lewis getting through. Tick, competed really hard. And look, outside of the smaller blokes, so the bigger guys, of course, Lewis being one, Deer and Gunston, the stats don't actually reflect just how well they competed. Now, between Gunston and Deer, who had 9 scoring shots between them, of course, Mitch Lewis did as well with kicking that behind. Would have loved that to go through, obviously. Massive tick for 3 tools in the wet. What they were able to do was sensational. So the fact that Mitch was able to get through and, of course, didn't have an injury, so he could be subbed out tactically, was incredible. Awesome. So both of those things get a tick. Back in form, guys. James Sicily, outside of the mistake in the first quarter, outside of pretty much the first quarter, to be honest, where he was still a little bit, last 3 quarters, I thought he was excellent, and he will be rewarded later on in the video. And of course, Dylan Moore, the return of my man. 32 disposals, leading all comers and kicking a couple of goals. The conditions just suited him beautifully. That high half-forward role, of course, is a very difficult one to play. And again, he played it to perfection. I don't give a damn about disposal efficiency. If you do in this kind of weather, outside of a Blake Hardwick, who I think went at like 80%, which is ridiculous, it doesn't mean jack, to be honest with you, right? James Warple was really good as well. 26 disposals, 19 of those kicks. If you're ever going to be a hacker kick midfielder, which of course, as we know, Jimmy is, this was the day to do it. And he did, which was awesome. So Mitch Lewis back, guys back in form, which we love. The second thing or the third thing, as we go through, is the foot on the throat. So 2 goals at 3-quarter time was, an incredible lead when you think of the fact that the Hawks had kicked against the wind twice. And when you take into consideration the GWS game, the way that the Hawks have been able to play without the wind down in Tassie has been extraordinary when you think about it. So they kicked 3 goals, 2 in that first quarter. They kicked 2 goals, 2 in the third quarter. So of course that being 5 goals, 4. So if I do the math in my head, yes, they kicked 8 goals, 3 without the wind, or 8 goals, 8 goals, 3 without the wind. If I'm doing math right, I'm not doing math right. 8-5 without the wind, awesome. But don't underestimate that 5-4, especially at quarter time. As we know, Port kicking the first 2 goals of the game. You're down 12-0, you don't have the wind. In order for the next 22 minutes of that quarter to be 20-8 was massive. This is where I wish I could use footage, because that first quarter was the best quarter we played. Bar none. I will not hear did you see us kick 5 goals in the last quarter? Yes, I did. None of that would have been possible without the absolute masterpiece that we defended. First of all, Josh Battle and Tom Barras, worth every freaking cent in the book and more with what they were able to do. And of course, you've got the other defenders down there. Blake Hardwick should never go forward again. None. Jars is the guy, right? Jars could be the swingman. His last quarter was unreal. I love Jarman Impey so much. I really do. But again, like I said, everything just went to plan. Now, again, from the perfection point of view, Guinea doing the plane celebration was awesome. Some Hawthorn fans are still not on Guinea's bandwagon, and you're just wrong, I think, at this point. Was awesome. Shout out to Ken for having a giggle about it. That is theatre. That is awesome. If you've got a problem with either of those things, you're off your head. You really are. Who else do I really need to talk about before I get to, the acknowledgement that I think a lot of people are waiting for? Harry was very good. Carl did what Carl did, which was nice. Connor Nash was a bit of bash and crash, 12 tackles as well. Okay, Connor, jeepers, calm down, son. Nearly got the triple-double. Kicks, marks, kicks, handballs, and tackles. That's not a thing. I don't even know why I brought it up. How many clearances did Connor have? He had 3, which was nice. The only thing that I want to just say about Connor, and I know I've said that the Hawks played the perfect game, but I just want to bring this up. Connor, when you're running into an open goal, especially when we don't have the wind, looking for a handball under pressure ain't the go, my friend. Have a ping. Nothing bad's going to happen in this weather. It's the one time where you can go, it's wet, I had a ping, what are you going to do? Right, it's the way that it goes. Mass did what Mass did. That was fine. Like I said, Josh Battlesworth every cent. Jack Scrimshaw recovered from what I thought was a pretty poor first quarter and a half. His second half was unreal. Loved what I saw from Scrimmer there. I'm not going to go through every player. The last one that I really want to talk about in a really positive way is the Wizard, who I thought had, look, what did he have? 13 disposals, 263 metres gained, 76% time on ground. That's not a lot. Good on him. That's pretty sick, actually. Had an almost day, but what was so encouraging to see is that his application never dropped, and the fact that he just wanted to run in a straight line at the footy no matter what was elite and awesome. So love that from the Wizard in every which way. In terms of full-on losing their position, Lloyd Meek losing to Jordan Sweet wasn't exactly on my bingo card, but if I can forgive anyone, it's Lloyd. Now, here we can get the acknowledgement that I think a lot of people are waiting for, because I still get knocked of this, even though I have admitted that I was wrong. But still, you say something, you put it out there on the internet, people wait for you to be wrong. So I will acknowledge this right here, right now. 6 clearances, 9 tackles, 26 disposals, 579 metres gained. Josh Ward has never played a better game of footy than that. He was sensational. He was the best midfielder on the ground. And this is coming from Jai Newcomb. I don't think he's played a worse game of footy for quite a period of time. Shut out. Now, Willem Drew did go to him for a significant period, so I'm not knocking Jai for that, but Wardy was excellent. The way that he just bumped off Georgiades in, I think, the second quarter and took off was just awesome. So, shout out to you, Wardy, in a massive way. For the rest of tonight, we are going to be in the 4, which is awesome. So what do the Hawks need to do to stay there? Well, we need St Kilda to beat Geelong, so that ain't going to happen. And Adelaide to beat Gold Coast, which would be nice. But yeah, Adelaide are not going to lose by a margin that can drop their percentage low enough to get to ours. But that percentage boost still is going to be key and still awesome, right? 38 points in the wet. I just keep in my mind, I always hear my old man, Daz Senior, say in the wet, every point's worth double, right? So margin-wise, 38 in the wet might have been 12 and a half goals dry. It's not a perfect metaphor, but I really like it. So awesome. In terms of everything that you could want, we got it. Zero complaints. Seriously, if you're a Hawthorn fan and you're in the comments of this video saying anything negative, I ain't getting on board with that. You're not getting the reply from Daz that's going, yeah, I agree, this wasn't great. No, we went in terrible weather, terrible conditions, played them beautifully, didn't have the wind in the first quarter. Now, unlike what Sean Red did against the Crows in 2001, we actually played against the wind awesomely, as we have done this year on a different occasion, of course, against the Giants. But everything that you wanted, you got today. So I'm not hearing any complaints. And for those of you that were on the Josh Ward bandwagon before me, you got more than you could ever want. And for those of us, especially me as the CEO of the Dylan Moore fan club, I'm feeling really good. Let's get to the MVP votes. And Josh Ward gets 5. I know people think he does. This is quite the flip. Unbelievable. Wardy was. Dylan Moore was fantastic. Jarman Impey was great. Blake Hardwick is amongst the votes as well. And I did give the 1 to Sis for the form that he was able to get back into. We have knocked the captain, rightly so. He responded. I'm more than happy to say the value of what he did can benefit us both now and in the short term. That's why he's getting it. But Amon, Battle, Warple, there's a few that could go out there and have received that vote, but that's what I'm going with. And the leaderboard looks like that. Not a whole lot of movement, to be honest, but the Wizard drops out of the top 5, and Jarman Impey goes in, which is pretty cool. But that's what we got, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, the initial reaction, all of those kinds of things. You can keep an eye out for the other videos on the channel. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to join the Daz Talks Footy family. Aiming to hit 6K before the finals start. I can't do that without your help. Go check out my reaction to the Brisbane and the Bulldogs game as well. See you in the next video. Goodbye.